Have your ad run on our live streaming episodes, linked in the video description and attached to our many hot take clips. The channel is fast growing with thousands of views and subscribers. Don't miss your chance to grow your business on one of the fastest growing platforms on YouTube. Join the family today. This might be risky. Email us at thismightberisky@gmail.com if interested. Hashtag Indeed, hashtag do the right thing.
Yeah, word. T, what you think?
I agree with Mr. White. Should we suffer in silence? We shouldn't, but we have, you are kind of forced to, because when you think about the biggest thing I took from what Mr. White was saying was about the vulnerability, and all of us, that have a significant, there's one of the things that I would think that most of us would look for in a significant is having the ability to be vulnerable with it. And if you can't be, and sometimes when you choose to be vulnerable, it can turn around and it will, the woman will use it as a weapon. And when they use it as a weapon, all hell has broken loose, because sometimes that significant may question your manhood or question something about you, all because you have chosen to be, or you've chosen her to be vulnerable with, and then they'll use it against you. The minute that, y'all get into an argument, then she's going to, draw back in her memory banks, well, you sorry, blah, 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 motherfucker, this, and label you all this other stuff that, may be true, may not be true, but she's going to use it because you chose to be vulnerable. We do need more spaces where we can talk to people. Just between all of us brothers, just sitting here talking can be therapeutic, or get some things out that, you can't do necessarily in front of, your wife or somebody else. Those of us that have fathers that are still alive, and, they, boy, I didn't raise you to be this way, blah, 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 blah. Nah. But we have to find a medium to get that shit out. That's the biggest thing.
Okay. Chief, what's your thoughts?
So, I'm listening and I'm taking all that shit in, and what I'm about to do is bring this whole shit full circle right now. To answer your question, no, men should not suffer in silence. To Terrence's point, this right here could be a safe space for all of us to get some shit off our chest. However, a key word Terrence mentioned was vulnerability. Vulnerability is like the igniter for toxic masculinity. And I say that because right now, if we have a conversation, all of a sudden I'm just like, yo, and I start crying. I'm gonna get some empathy from a couple brothers. Y'all gonna hear me out, throw some gems at me, but I guarantee when we offline or something, soft ass nigga. somebody got that from me. You know what I'm saying? Somebody got that from me. You dig what I'm saying? And so to Mr. White's point, like, we have to. I'm a firm advocate, like, of the exposition of vulnerability, like firm. I stand firm in that shit, and I have no problem communicating with people I trust. Oftentimes, we are afraid to communicate with people, even some of our closest homies, because they're too wrapped up in that toxic masculinity that was instilled in us from our childhoods. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't cry, nigga, buckle up, knuck up, all that shit. So we still carry that long into our adulthoods, and until we're mature enough to sit back and go, yo, that shit is toxic. Like, holding on to that shit is not healthy for me. And if I can't talk to my homie, I can't talk to my lady, then I recommend we look into a therapist, somebody completely outside of our circle, that we can at least get this shit off our chest, because all of us know somebody who needed to say something who ain't here no more, somebody who needed to say something who's locked up, somebody who got hella holes in the walls at the crib because they can't find another way to get their shit off their chest, so they punching holes in the wall, beating on their ladies or whatever. Because we are convinced that we have to suffer in silence, and that shit is not okay because none of us. I don't care who your people are. If they tell you they've suffered in silence and they're in a good spot right now, they're holding on to some shit that they need to get out. And they may be too afraid to talk to you, can't talk to the lady, therapist ain't for black men, whatever, blah, 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 blah. But we suffering in silence ain't done none of us no good, ever.
That was substantive. Corn, what you think?
I don't have too much to add from what they said, but like I said, I same way. I don't feel like we should suffer in silence. And brother, if you did cry, I would pray for you. I would not laugh at you. Just like you know.
No, I'm saying right now, most y'all ain't gonna laugh in my face, but afterwards,
I wouldn't laugh behind your back either. I'd be like,
this nigga crying in a room full of strangers.
Yeah, I'd be like, he was brave to open up, right? And we need spaces like that. And it's funny because I was actually talking to my for Christmas. I actually was talking to my dad or whatever. Or actually, like every year we kind of go around the room and everybody kind of says certain things about their, what they had from the past year, what they accomplished and things like that. And towards the end, I gave a big shout out to my father because I said, you know what, the fact that you as a man, me being out on my own now, me seeing you as an example of somebody that has taken care of the household, has fixed, if something is broke, you fix it. If bills need to be paid, you pay it. If whatever needs to be done, you make stuff happen. You may not get a thank you, you may not get a appreciate you or nothing. And I realized I didn't, and so it's one of those things where as a kid, you just know dad taking care of everything. But now that I get older, now I'm taking care of stuff myself. Like if I fix my girl's tire or if I do something, she may not even thank me. Now I'm like, okay, now that's what my daddy feel like. You know what I mean? And so it's like I put myself in that frame now where it's like I understand how my daddy feels in this situation. And I gave him a big shout out because I said, you show me what a man is when I need to do and things I need to accomplish in life as well. And so I actually wanted him to cry, to be honest with you. Like I was trying to say enough stuff. But I wanted him to cry right there, honestly. You know what I'm saying? Because I was like, you know what? My dad doesn't show emotion. You know what I mean? He doesn't show, like, if I came up to him and when I used to go off to college, I used to come up to him, he'd give me a handshake. He would never give me a hug. And so I had to realize, I said, no, we're going to break that. You know what I'm saying? So I eventually started hugging him every time I saw him after that.
So and, to your point, Corn,
just to create that bond and that emotion, like we don't show that emotion. I said, me and my daddy, we're going to have that,
Mm-hmm.
So question, just yes or no, real quick. Did he cry?
So I said enough, and then so the crazy thing about it is my little brother, I guess he kind of picked up off what I said, and he basically gave a little speech too. And he did choke up a little. My little brother did. He choked up and got emotional. When he choked up and got emotional, I could see my dad's eyes water. He didn't cry. But so I could see his eyes get real red, and I was like, "Come on, cry," because I wanted him to cry.
I asked that because now here's the challenge. You sat there and intentionally poured into your pop, who obviously means a lot to you, right? And you wanted him to cry, but why wouldn't you?
No, I cry all the time.
I'm just saying, in that moment right there,
no, I do.
Gratitude to your pop, and he see you crying because he means so much to you. How do you think that channels the energy in him now?
No, and I like I said, I cry all the time. You know what I mean? And so in that moment, I just wanted him to. What I'm saying, feel the emotion, and the emotion was there. You know what I'm saying? I think my eyes probably was watery, honestly.
Okay.
But and I can see him starting to get emotional as he started talking and hearing what I said. But I think the biggest thing is like he was talking about toxic masculinity. My people from Arkansas, you know what I'm saying? We a country. They just do what they got to do. My granddaddy was the same way. He didn't cry. He just man up, he'll shake my hand. He was the same way. So I see where my dad got it from. But for me, I wanted to break that generational thing where it's like, I can't show emotion or I can't hug you. I can't do certain things. Now, every time my dad sees me now, we hug each other. You know what I mean? And I tell him I love him. And
you breaking generational curses or whatever.
That's what I'm trying to do. Right.
You cry all the time, you said, right?
I cry all the time.
Have you cried? Have you cried in front of your father? Have you cried in front of your father?
Ooh. You trying to counsel me right now?
No, what I'm saying is though, we talking about. I told you, vulnerability is the igniter to toxic masculinity. So right now, you even saying what you're saying right now, you love your pop, you pouring into him, and it's making you emotional. But because of how he was raised and maybe your fear of how he might respond, watching his son cry is preventing you from doing so.
You want answers. I want the truth.
No, like I said, that's something that I'm still developing too with him, because like I said, I'm trying to break that. So yes, I was emotional, and I have gotten and I have cried to a degree, you know what I mean, but not fully, because we still have that manly, like, you got to man up, you can't cry, you can't do this, can't do that. So that's still there. I'm not gonna say that's completely gone. That's still there, but it's definitely what's it called, the cement. I'm definitely chiseling. I'm chiseling that.
Okay.
I'm chiseling.
Right.
So it ain't fully, but that was a good step that but I wanted to do that for a reason, because like I said, my dad is getting older. I'm getting older. I want to make sure he knows that I love him, and how much of an example he's been on my life. You know what I mean? So I wanted his flowers while he living. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so,
that's the key.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
Yeah.
Chief, those are some good questions, bro.
He was
listen. So I shameless plug, fellas. I have a podcast myself, and it's All Black Men Need Therapy. That's what it's called. And the reality of it is, we all carry some shit that we need to get off our chest.
Bring me up there, y'all. I want to get up there.
Chief,
no doubt.
Chief lazy. He only do it once every quarter.
That's not true. We got a bunch of the clips right now.
Yeah, man.
Nah, we
use therapy once a quarter season.
No, I've learned. Just because we started the podcast, I've actually been going, and it's really helped me get, like, I'm 42, fam. I just realized maybe like 2 years ago I was carrying daddy issues. So listening to Cohen talk about his pop, I'm like, shit, I don't have a story like that at all. Not at all.
I agree. I started therapy last year. This is
okay.
Great decision. Great decision.
You said your side. What's one you part of?
What's that? My podcast?
I thought you said you was going through therapy.
Oh yeah, I am. I have my own personal therapist.
Okay, you got a personal.
I have my personal therapist. We also have the podcast, who's just encouraging black men to fucking talk, because we got a lot of shit, man. We come with baggage, whether we realize it or not.
And what's that called?
All Black Men Need Therapy.
Yeah, put it in the chat, in the private chat.
Because I did do one earlier.
All right, Cohen. Yeah. Put it in the private chat for that nigga, please.
No. I was gonna tell him, it's called Black Men Here. It's called Black Men Here.
That's crazy. That's why you can't be vulnerable. See.
Let me get.
Look at him.
Hey, Russ, come on, man. Wow. Friend, and we out.